Welcome into Wager Cup. Sorry, welcome into Wager Talk. Last call if I can talk today. I'm Jo Madden. We got a loaded show. It is your primetime preview here. We have the Philadelphia Eagles into LA to take on the LA Chargers. Both of these teams needing the win. Both of these teams sitting 8-4. The Philadelphia Eagles coming off two hard losses. This is normally where you'd expect a team like the Eagles to bounce back, but this is a team that has been struggling out there. And I'm not sure they have what it takes to be able to get past the LA Chargers defense. We're going to see what this offense can do. We're going to see if Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley can actually get something done in the fourth quarter as well. This is where this team has completely been stalling out. But we got so much to go over today. We will have David Delano coming in as well as Steve Merrill. So make sure you drop in the live chat here your questions and comments for the guys so that we can get into everything that's going on over on this game. So it's week 14 wrapping up, and we know we saw the upsets like crazy on Sunday. So could this be another upset? If you're thinking the Chargers get the upset, well, those lines have moved. Money has been coming in on the Chargers as the day goes on. So open up your odds logic book. Let's shop these lines together. Right now, we're seeing 1.5. Circa has a 1.5, or sorry, a 1 there. For the Philadelphia Eagles, you're seeing a 1.5 on Pinnacle, FanDuel, BetMGM, Circa. Hard Rock still has a 2. So if you like the Chargers, want to grab them plus the points, you can grab the 2 at Hard Rock. For me, if I'm going to take the Chargers, I'm going to take the money line because I don't think this is one where they lose it by, 2 points, right? Or 1 point. I think either the Chargers win or they don't keep it tight. You see the Eagles pull away and that offense finally start to get clicking. It's going to come down to the defense. What can the Chargers defense do? We know they have a strong front seven. We know that they're able to confuse quarterbacks with their zone coverage and their ability to put that pressure on without putting a lot of men on the quarterback as well. So we're going to see if this Chargers defense can really live up to what we've seen out of them in a lot of games. The one game they really did stumble was versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. So we're going to see what happens in this one. But I see all of you jumping in to the live chat. J-Dog, thank you. Yeah, the team total for 29.5 for the Bills yesterday. We were able to get there. And yes, Jesse, Tuggin Sports and names. We are seeing Hampton coming into the lineup for the LA Chargers. This is going to be a difference. You got to remember, the Philadelphia Eagles are missing Carter as well, one of their best defensemen. The LA Chargers, without having to deal with Carter on the other side, should be able to open up those lanes for Hampton, and Hampton should be able to get some work on the ground as well. I got him for the anytime tutty. So there's a lot to get to. I see Bill liking the Chargers money line and the under. And I agree with you. If the Chargers are to win this, I think they do trend to the under. Looking at those totals, you guys, before we bring in David, he's going to be in just 1 second. The total did open at 43.5. It has dropped. There's a 42 on a couple of the books. If you're looking at the undershot for the 42.5, we're seeing the 42.5 at DraftKings as well as Caesars and Hard Rock. And the rest I'm seeing 42. So shop for those totals if you like it to the under one way. And if you like it to the over, shop the other. But let's bring in David Delano. We're going to jump into breaking down everything that you need to know on this Monday night primetime game, the Philadelphia Eagles versus the LA Chargers. Let's hear what you're liking. David, happy Monday.
Happy Monday to you too. It's been a little while. Last time I was on here with you on Monday, I was talking about these same Philadelphia Eagles when they were playing the Packers. So time's been flying. Excited to talk about this one. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good, David. And yeah, time definitely has been flying. It's hard to believe this is our last game of week 14. We'll be rolling into week 15 here on Thursday. And this is a pivotal game for both of these teams here. Both teams sitting 8-4 on the season. The Chargers kind of hanging in that wild card spot. The Eagles wanting to come out, get things right after losing 2 terrible losses. Which team are you leaning to have success tonight?
Yeah, so the Philadelphia Eagles, right now I understand why they're a little bit down, and I think that they've been disrespected in the lines for quite a while. We talked about that in the games with the Packers, Lions. They found ways to win, and then they ran into a letdown against the Cowboys. They were up 21-0. Had a turnover. So things got away from them. A lot of penalties. and now coming off of that loss to the Chicago Bears. But that was that was a little bit of a tricky game too. Bears are obviously a lot better than we expected, but the Eagles, late in the third quarter, they were driving. They were set up to take the lead before a fumble, which led to a long Chicago Bears drive. But I do like the Eagles in this particular spot. I think that they're in better form than the Chargers. There's obviously injuries on both sides. I know, Justin Herbert with his injury to his arm. I know it's not his throwing, hand or arm, but still worried about that. And also this Chargers offensive line is banged up. I've got them rated as really the third worst offensive line, just only ahead of the Browns and the Raiders. So I think that that's going to cause some issues there. And it's been quite a while since Chargers have really, beaten a quality team. They're 8-4 on the season, but they're 0-2 against the NFC East. And, when we talk about the NFC East, they lost to the Commanders. They lost to the Giants. Those teams haven't won too many games there. So I know we saw a desperate Chiefs team lose yesterday, but I do think that we're going to see a, pretty desperate Philadelphia Eagles team rise up. I think that there's just a little too many question marks with the offensive line and Herbert, and I don't see the Eagles losing 3 in a row. So I'm on the Philadelphia Eagles here with the -2.
Okay, you guys, to shop those lines, there is a 1 at circa 1.5 at Caesars Bet MGM. Always get the best of the numbers over at Odds Logic below this video. Check out the free 7-day trial. But you made a really good point. The offensive line, no one seems to be talking about the offensive line for the LA Chargers going into this. We know injury after injury have piled up there for them. And then Justin Herbert with that injury to his non-throwing hand. When he came out in that last game after that injury, we did see him still passing that ball off. But the scary thing is he wasn't using that non-throwing hand to pass it off, which could lead to mistakes out there on the field tonight if that's how he comes out and plays it. Do you think we could see the turnovers by the defense here of the Eagles because of that?
I definitely think that we could, but I think that it's going to be a pretty conservative game plan for both teams. I hate taking unders this low, but if you are going to play the total, I think the under is going to be a play. I don't know if this is the best game for some of those touchdown props, especially
Yeah.
if you like to put a whole lot of them together, because I'm not sure if we're going to see a whole lot of touchdowns. At least right now, I do think it's going to be a big game for field goals. Even the Chargers, they're second in the league in field goal attempts, and Cameron Dicker, he's he's one of the best kickers in the league. You see, even at his props, even at +2 field goals, is pretty highly juiced. I think that's telling you we're going to see a lot of field goals. I think the Chargers, we're going to see a situation where you see a lot of aggressive play calling in the NFL today, but I think that this is going to be a game where at least the Chargers, they take those points, when they can get them. And I do think they're going to see a pretty conservative game plan. So Herbert, I don't know if he's going to, we'll kind of find out early, how healthy he is. Harbaugh is really, really smart coach. So I don't know if he's going to put him in a position to create too many turnovers unless they fall behind, and you're really forced to. So that's I think if you're playing those turnover props, that's, you're looking for the Chargers falling behind and they have to get a little more aggressive than they want to. And I know you mentioned Amari Hampton coming back tonight. That's going to be interesting to see if he's healthy. It should definitely be a big boost. But first game back in a long time, we'll see how much they can rely on him, because that Chargers run game is going to be important.
Yeah, we'll see if he gets majority of the workload, or if we do see Vidal still coming out and getting that workload, who was stepping up for Hampton out. Now, looking at the Eagles with Jalen Carter out, does that give you any angst for this defense here?
It does, but I think with so much of the like I said, with the offensive line for the Chargers, also Herbert
Yeah.
banged up. That's I don't think I think that we're gonna see the Chargers offense struggle. And also, yeah, you're right. I mean, even when you're looking at the Eagles, that offense has definitely struggled as well. I think on that side, we should probably see Jalen Hurts. I know he's been right around at 31, 33, 31. Pretty much just consistently. You could plug him in for that for his rushing props. And right now, depending where you're shopping, it's about 30.5, 31.5. But I do think that this is going to be a spot for Jalen Hurts to get a few more rushing yards. When it comes to passing yards allowed per game, you've got a Chargers defense that's second, in the NFL in that category. So I think that I think that there's going to be a lot of, expect the coverage to be good, knowing that it's going to be a tight game. I think we're going to see strong defense on both sides. And for me, just personally, I it's hard for me sometimes just with one player, a couple players being injured on the defensive side of the ball to I think it's adjusted into the line here. I do think that there's depth on both sides. And even we've seen the Eagles. I mean, they had a lot of turnover from last season on the defensive side of the ball. And overall they've still been solid. So I'm not overcompensating for that too much. But I do think, as far as at least when the Eagles have the ball, I do think that we're going to see Jalen Hurts, scrambling a little bit more, even, and probably get over rushing yards because I think those passing yards are going to be so hard to come by.
I love that you brought up Jalen Hurts rushing yards. We know he has every ability, and I think he really has to play a solid game in this one. He has to be able to get his team the win. But as you talk one quarterback for their rushing yards, I think the Chargers would be crazy to rush Justin Herbert with that injury in this one. He has a rushing prop of 19.5, David, and that's something I already took to the under. Would you try to talk me off that, or do you think looking at him to go under on his rushing yards is a solid way to go?
No, I agree with you. I'm not going to talk you out of that. I mean, the only way I see him going over is, I mean, it's got to be a desperate situation with a couple big running lanes where he could get out of bounds. But yeah, he's just too valuable to this team, and even beyond this game, I mean, you got to think playoffs and things like that, especially with the AFC being so wide open. Even if the Chargers don't win this game, you don't want to lose multiple games. You just want to, if they lose this game, you just want to lose this one. You don't want to lose Herbert beyond that. So I agree with you, Joe. I'm completely with you on that one. I might even throw that one in there myself for the under rushing yards for Justin Herbert. I don't see him getting 20 yards or more in this game.
I just feel like they would be crazy to allow him to run in this one. He takes any contact, you really injure him out there, and then you're in trouble because the Chargers, they can't rely on Trey Lance going forward into the season if Justin Herbert takes a season-ending injury. But you brought up Jalen Hurts, you brought up his rushing prop. Is it too much to ask for the tush push before we start getting into all of those questions on Philip Rivers and everything I start seeing coming out here? We're talking Rivers. Why are we talking Rivers, you guys? But let's first talk Jalen Hurts, tush push.
I don't think it's never a bad idea. I don't think you can ever rule out the tush push. I think that's
Oh,
always a good way to go. I mean, especially with this pass defense being so strong, you don't want to turn the ball over. Saquon's been struggling. Like I mentioned even the last week against he's been struggling overall. So compared to in the past, so the tush push, you get close enough. I think that that's the smartest way to go. And even what you mentioned before to kind of circle back to the rushing yards there for Herbert, I think that they reactivated Hampton for a reason, right? So why would you reactivate him along with Vidal? It gives you more depth at running back. Why would you do? You didn't do that so that you could have Herbert out there running for his life. So I agree.
absolutely. So just seeing in the chat here, Stan threw out that Philip Rivers might play for the Colts this weekend. I'm sure that's just a joke, but if that's not a joke and there's actual talks of Rivers coming back into the league, that'd be absolutely nuts. And someone's saying he's 44 today. So Philip Rivers is 44. Congratulations. Happy birthday. So yeah.
It sounds like a joke, but there have been stranger things. Maybe I should start something
Mhm.
about maybe Vinny Testaverde playing for the Jets this week.
Oh man, yeah, yeah. A lot of these teams could use a solid quarterback. That is for sure, David. These backup quarterbacks just not getting it done. What do you think of the Colts' hopes now for the season? They're done, right?
um, it looks that way. I
Yeah.
mean, the AFC so open, but right now they're trending downward, and you see Jacksonville's getting stronger. Houston, I mean, that defense is, I mean, they definitely have made a
Yeah.
statement. You see what they did against Patrick Mahomes, what they did against Josh Allen. I
Yeah.
know a lot of people, it might be hard to take the Houston Texans serious, but with that offense
Got it.
starting to click, when you could play defense like that, it's hard to go against them. And really, the big thing for the Colts, I mean, is Jonathan Taylor. Like if he rushes for 90 yards or more, they're going to win the game. If he doesn't, they usually won't. But now it's going to even get easier to stack that box against them. We're starting to see some, I mean, the Bills obviously in good form. See what happens with the Patriots. But when you look around at the AFC, I think the Colts have been a nice story, but it's starting to look like if they get in there, that could be a quick early exit for them. Unfortunately for Colts
It,
fans.
It looked so promising to start the season for the Indianapolis Colts. It's sad to see the situation they're in, and prayers out there for Daniel Jones and the recovery from that injury. But okay, so tonight's game, you're rolling with the Philadelphia Eagles. You're laying the 1.5, 2. You're good with that. And then are you looking for this one? Which side of the total were you on, David?
Yeah, so my favorite play for this is going to be the side. I do like that more. Sometimes I just sometimes have bad luck with these low totals taking unders, but I think under is the way to go. But I know in California you got those perfect conditions, but I do like the under in this game. I guess the Chargers the defense just being so strong, especially against the pass. I think we're going to see a little bit of a conservative game plan. So I don't think that we're going to see a shootout at all. So it's probably going to be maybe a 21-17, maybe even 20-13 type game. We may see the Chargers kick. I would be surprised if we see the Chargers kick make 3 field goals in this game.
Okay. So what do you got for sale for us over on WagerTalk.com?
Yeah, so over there, along with over picks and parlays and winners and whiners as well. You can check out everything. I'm capping. I know we're talking about football, but also got hockey best bets up there each night, along with college basketball, NBA. Got the weekend warrior passes over there. You can get everything for $49, which is pretty much the price of almost getting just one best bet over there. So you can lock in, and people on the picks and parlays. I'm gonna be over there talking about all the the bowl games as well. So we're gonna be covering every single bowl game. So subscribe to all the the channels: Wager Talk, Picks and Parlays, Winners and Whiners. Just check us out. There'll be a lot of content coming.
There absolutely will be. David, thank you so much for your time tonight. Absolutely crushed the books. Well, maybe not this game. I'm a Bolts fan, right? You show up here.
I didn't know that.
Oh, okay. Now you know. No. Yes, I am.
Well, maybe next time we'll talk. I do think Ohio State's gonna. I know I'm running short on time. I do think Ohio State's gonna win the national championship, though.
That missed field goal, David. Don't even get me started over this weekend. That missed field goal was just death. Oh,
I think that loss is gonna be good long term. Just like the loss last year, you couldn't lose to Michigan again. But I think that this loss is gonna pay off in the long run. But we'll see.
Fingers crossed, David. David, all the best in all of your bets. We'll see you back here shortly.
All right. Thanks again, Joe. Have a good one.
You too. Thank you. Okay, guys, that was David Delano. Go find everything that he's got going on over on Picks and Parlays, Winners and Whiners. You can see him all the time here on Wager Talk as well. So you guys, we're going to have Steve Merrill jumping in. Drop your questions in the chat. He's going to come at you with everything. He's got a lot. We're not just talking Monday Night Football here with Steve. He's got to bring some other things that he's invested in tonight just for you guys. So drop your questions, drop your comments. We'll try to get to all of them. Who's my favorite NHL team? Well, I'm a Calgary Flames fan, first and foremost. And then I really like the LA Kings and the Vegas Golden Knights. So I feel like I'm allowed to like Vegas, not because it was a newer franchise, not really allowed to love the LA Kings. So hopefully my mom's not watching, because I will be in trouble. But let's bring in Steve Merrill here to talk this Monday Night Football game and so much more.
What's up, Jo Madden?
Hey, how's it going, Steve?
Good to see you.
It's great to see you.
When Jo Madden says she needs a guest on Monday night, I step up. No, good to see her. I can't do a lot of the weeknights, but tonight worked out. So this works out. We got a great NBA slate, 3 games. Fantastic college basketball slate with 5 games remaining. Grambling State, Southern, Mississippi Valley State. Oh, my goodness. Good thing there's a Monday Night Football game.
Yeah, a really good thing there's a Monday Night Football game. So did you want to get to Monday Night Football first, or do you just want to talk something else that you're liking in college basketball, college football? Where are you wanting to go first, Steve?
We'll stick with the Monday night theme, but I'm going to tease that I do have an 8 p.m. Eastern college basketball free play I'm going to give out, and the sharp money has moved it a teeny bit higher, but there's still value. So we'll get to that maybe in a moment. But yeah, look, front and center, NFL games are one everybody wants to talk about. I did a standalone video earlier this week for this game, talked about it on Wager Talk today as well. And some people probably already seen my thoughts on this, but I want to reiterate, I like the Eagle team total under. I think that's the best way to attack this still for a few reasons. You guys talked about the Herbert hand injury, the fractured left hand, his non-throwing hand, but they're going to put him in shotgun formation more because they don't even want him taking snaps, hitting that top hand with the ball. So I do think he's limited. And you're right, he's not going to look to run. If he gets over that rushing prop, it's going to be probably scramble yards, which could happen. But, let's just take the Chargers out of the equation, right? The Eagles are off back-to-back losses. If they're one of the best teams in the league still, if they're the defending Super Bowl champs, they should bounce back. So instead of looking at the side, instead of even involving the Chargers, let's just look at the Eagle team total. If they're going to win this game tonight, it's going to be with defense. I definitely don't disagree with the game itself, under 42, 42 and a half. But the Eagle team total is 21 and a half. Chargers is 20 and a half. Obviously, 21 is a very key number. So I like that under 21 and a half. 6 of the last Eagle games have had 21 points or less. They just averaged, 19 and a half in 2 games against the Cowboys and Bears, who are 2 bad defensive teams. They still couldn't score. And the Chargers are actually a pretty good defense. They're only giving up 21 points a game. They've held 4 of their last 5 opponents to 20 or less. It seems a little too obvious to me, Joe, so maybe tell me if I'm missing something here. And I never like the obvious plays, but team total under 21 and a half, I just don't think the Eagles are going to flip a switch and fix their offensive problems. And to put this in perspective, let's talk about the last primetime game last night. Chiefs must win, do or die. What they scored 10 points. They didn't fix their offensive problems either. And both teams are missing their best offensive linemen. So don't disagree with the game under, but I think the Eagle team total under might be the best way to attack it.
Yeah, and I'm completely there with you. You look at this Eagles team and you look at the struggles they've had over the last couple of weeks with their offense as well. And against this Chargers front 7, I think the front 7 is going to really be able to control the game of this one here. We've seen the Chargers limiting opponents as of late. This definitely should be their stronger unit on the field tonight. It's the Chargers defense versus the Eagles offense, in my opinion. So I love where you're going with that one. And I also worry about the Eagles in the fourth quarter. Like, I do think this is a game where we could be stressing going into that fourth quarter for the Eagles team total. But in the fourth quarter, Steve, they haven't been producing at all. Are they just running out of gas at this point in the season?
I thought the Chiefs were kind of a team we could fade this year, and I've picked my spots with them, and recently they've been terrible, obviously. I have missed a couple of times thinking maybe they still have what it takes, but the way they got blown out in that Super Bowl last year, I kind of thought the writing was on the wall that it was a franchise that was in regression. And once again, they've got a lot of offensive line injuries, just like they did in that Super Bowl game. The Eagles looked really strong in that Super Bowl, but once again, it was their defense that really dominated. And I think we all keep feeling like, well, this is a powerhouse team. I'm not sure this offense is really a powerhouse team. And talk about the tush push, Jalen Hurts being so mobile. On the season now, they're averaging 4 yards a carry against teams that allow 4.5 yards a carry. That's a below average rushing attack. They're averaging less than 109 rushing yards against teams that allow 117. So, yeah, the numbers don't lie. And I think we continue to get value. And the reason this is 21 and a half instead of 20 or 19 is because it's the defending Super Bowl champs. And like you said, back against the wall, back-to-back losses, fourth quarter, if they're down, you're going to feel like they're going to pull it out. Same thing with the Chiefs last night, right? And they didn't get it done either.
It was cheering.
Yeah, and it's just, the offensive numbers don't lie. This is a very mediocre offensive team right now with Philly. And I think the other thing, as I mentioned, is that the Chargers are an underrated defensive team. On the season, they're giving up just 5.8 yards per pass. The Eagles give up 6.3. So this is a good San Diego. There I go again. LA Charger defense. Yeah. Now, I will say, being in LA, they might have more Eagle fans in this game. And also want to point out, this line is dropping as we get near kickoff. When I did the shows earlier today, it was 2, even some 2.5s out there. It's now 1, 1.5, 1. So the money's come in on the Chargers here in the last hour. I pointed out on WagerTalk today that I thought the Chargers make a really good teaser play when it was 2, 2.5, because you could get them up to 8, 8.5. The key to that, of course, is you have to get 7.5 or higher. You have to cover 3 and 7, 6 and 4, all the key numbers. There are ones out there. Some books still have 1.5. Like DraftKings is still dealing a 1.5. So you can only use this as a teaser now if you can get 7.5 or more. And Joe, I'll let you look at some Sunday games, but one that jumps out as a possible second tier to that teaser, that 2-team teaser, would be maybe the Bears minus 7.5 down to 1.5 at home against Cleveland. Hard to imagine Cleveland's going to win at Chicago. I mean, anything is possible. They are the much better defensive team, but maybe a little Bears, Chargers, 1.5, Chargers up to 7.5, 2-team teaser if you're looking for some action as well.
Ooh, I definitely like that. That is a good one to go with for sure. I want to ask you about, what do you think is happening in the Eagles locker room right now? Do you think maybe there's a little bit of just ego going on because, they won the Super Bowl last year? It seems like no one's getting along. We know AJ Brown's always complaining he wants the ball. And then I heard this weird thing today. They've got this blow up bunny in the locker room for good spirits. Did you hear about this? Good vibes. No. It's like, yeah, it's meant to be like an 8-foot blow-up bunny for good vibes. Like, one of those inflatables.
I do think, let's keep in mind, they did have, what was it, a 21-0 lead at Dallas, and then they blew it, right? So it's not like they really got, outplayed in that game. And then maybe that carried over last Friday. Really need to put up more than 15 points at home off a loss against Chicago. They're not a good defensive team. Green Bay beat them yesterday, put up some points. But you look at this Eagles schedule, they got the Raiders next week at home. And then 2 of their final 3 games are against not my Washington Commanders, who are in a tailspin, obviously. They do get the Bills, by the way, Christmas weekend. But that's the only tough opponent they've got left. So they can still save this season. And I will say I think they're in a much better spot being across country in LA tonight than another home game. So they dodged a bullet there, and they should take care of the Raiders at home next week. We'll see what happens. But the Boo Birds will be out tonight. I think there'll probably be as many Eagle fans as Charger fans, as you know, in LA. So maybe there will be a little bit of pressure still. 4 straight unders, though, and they have scored 16 or less in 3 of those last 4 games. They put up 21 against Dallas. So, once again, it just seems too obvious to me. It's like normally I'd be like, a good team, 2 losses, they break out tonight offensively. But I just don't think this offense is that good right now.
Yeah, I don't think they are either. One thing to note, the Chargers do have the Kansas City Chiefs on deck on Sunday coming up. I don't think they would look ahead of the Philadelphia Eagles. You can't look past the team that won the Super Bowl last year. So anything prop-wise, though, for you in this game, maybe any unders. One thing I was talking to David about is I took Justin Herbert's rushing prop to the under. Right. I think they'd be insane to run him in this game.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you there. And the total is around 42 and a half. I think the game itself more, if I like the Eagle team total under, obviously I'm probably leaning under with the game. That gets you looking at some player props under it. As I pointed out earlier, Chargers have a very underrated pass defense, and I think that's the main reason the Eagles are struggling. They're not running the ball well because they don't throw the ball well, if that makes any sense. So it's easier to stop the run when you don't have to worry about the pass. So, yeah, Eagle offensive props under makes sense for me as well. Yardage for receiver, yardage maybe. Got to be careful with receptions. They could have some dump-offs, quick receptions. But I think total yards, total points are going to be to the under tonight for the Eagles, however you want to slice it. And by the way, looking ahead to that Kansas City game on Sunday, they do have bettable lines out there in a lot of sports books right now, and it's currently 4.5. How crazy is that, Joe? The Chiefs right now are 4.5 point favorite when they're only, a 3.5 point favorite last night against Houston, who I don't think is any better than the Chargers, and Kansas City looked terrible again. It just shows once again why, the Eagles are overinflated, the Chiefs are overinflated, and why they've been complete money burners here in the recent weeks.
Oh, they absolutely have. Okay, we do have a question in the live chat here before we get to your college basketball play. Do you like Hampton? Hampton back in the lineup here for the Chargers, over 37.5 rushing yards, or Vidal better over the 36.5? We know Vidal's been playing great. He's been getting the work with Hampton off the field, but with Hampton back on the field, which way would you go if you had to?
Yeah, I'm neutral on that, and you're the prop expert on that kind of stuff. So if you think one guy's going to get more carries, that's where you're going to want to go. I really don't have a feel for who's going to get the ball more. I will say the Eagles' run D this year, average 4.5 yards per carry allowed against teams that average 4.5. So here again, the Philadelphia Eagles statistically are a very average football team this year. They've outscored their opponents by less than 2 points a game. It's just they're living on reputation. So I have no problem with either one of those running backs over. I think they'll have success on the ground. And once again, Herbert broken left hand. I agree with you. He probably won't scramble or run much, which means somebody else is going to do the running. And he also might not throw as much, which is another reason I kind of lean under in the game. And that probably helps running back props for the Chargers to the over.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how this one plays out. But I'm with you, Steve. I think either of these quarterback or these running backs have the ability to go over those numbers. Vidal has been getting that work. So if Justin Herbert's not comfortable handing the ball off to Hampton because he hasn't seen him out there for a couple of weeks, and with that hand injury, maybe Vidal might be the stronger way. But they're putting Hampton back in the lineup for a reason. It's because he is ready to go. So I would go there. You've got college basketball for us. What do you got on the hardwood?
Yeah, so many great games tonight, Joe. I mean, which one do you want to talk about here? We have Texas, a 21-point favorite over Southern. By the way, I did do a free play video on that game, which goes here at 8 Eastern. So don't be afraid to check that out here on WagerTalk TV. But I'm going to look at another one of the beauties. Kansas State, 37 over Mississippi Valley State. Mississippi Valley State is the worst Division I basketball team in the country. And I can back that up statistically. There are 365 teams in Division I men's basketball. And if you look at different efficiency metrics, including KenPom, Mississippi Valley State, Delta Devils, one of the greatest nicknames in the country, but the worst basketball team in the country. They are 365th right now in the KenPom rankings. Their win came against the Mississippi School of Women, and I'm not joking. Dead serious. That's the name of the school. It's a men's basketball team. You can't make this stuff up. I go to a deep dive into this.
It sounds like a fairy tale. Like, that doesn't sound right. Really?
I did a 10-minute video with Dan Alexander today on the Texas game and on this game. And this one I ended up kind of liking after breaking it down. And that's why I wanted to give it out free. But that is true. I went down the rabbit hole. And in the 1870s, this school started in Mississippi. It's called the University. I got to get it right. It's in the video. The University of Mississippi for White Girls. I'm not kidding you. That was the name of the school. It's the most bizarre thing I've ever seen going down the Wikipedia rabbit hole in recent weeks. Wow. But the point is, this is a really bad Mississippi Valley State team. That's who they beat. I guess they're Division III. Who knows? They're the Owls. But this team's been routinely blown out. Bad on both ends of the court. So whenever you're handicapping a big spread, the question becomes, does the favorite want to cover? Do they care about this game? And normally you would say Kansas State does not care about this game, but I think they will tonight for a few reasons. First of all, after a 5-0 straight-up start, looky here, they've lost 4 straight games, and they have a big look-ahead game on deck against Creighton coming up, I believe. So this is not a game they can overlook. They're going to come out here full throttle and smash Mississippi Valley State, and they play at an extremely fast pace. Out of those 365 teams, this year, Kansas State's the 12th fastest team in the country. And look at the first 5 games they won this year. They scored 98 points or more in 3 of those 5, 93 or more in 4 of the 5. All 5 went over, and now they've lost 4 straight, and they've closed 69 or less the last 3. It's going to be an offensive breakout tonight. If you're going to play it, I would lay it with Kansas State. I like the over as well. But the best way to play this, if I like K-State in the over, is a team total, right? Team total over 98.5. Now, a lot of sports books don't offer college basketball team totals. So I put this up for free on my WagerTalk page for everybody. Over 98.5. It's now 99.5. It's steamed up a little since I released it. They're going to get to over 100 tonight against – look, they scored 93 or more in 4 of their first 5 wins, and now they're playing the worst team in the country, and they're coming off 4 losses. 100 or more, free tacos for everybody, whatever the promotion is in Manhattan, Kansas tonight. And I like K-State over 99 team total. If you don't have access to that, Joe, just play the game over 154.5 would be my second option. But yeah, sneaky little play I never would have found had I not done a video for this game earlier today on WagerTalk TV.
Oh, I absolutely love it, Steve. I hope you crushed that one. I'm going to see if I can get it as soon as we get off here. That one starts at 8 p.m. Eastern, so you guys have plenty of time to get that in. Steve, what do you got up for sale over on WagerTalk.com for everyone?
Yeah, so I do have an NBA best bet that's still available. One's about to start. Another one goes here, I believe, in about a half hour. So if you want to get an NBA play, I gave you Monday Night Football free, gave you my top opinion in college basketball free. Go get tonight's NBA best bet. Single plays are available daily, weekly, monthly subscriptions as well, or even the 1-year all-access pass. Full details on my page, Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com. And don't forget about the daily free play. It is truly the last cut from my best bet card, and I posted that team total tonight that I just gave you for free as tonight's free play. So make it part of your daily handicapping routine to go to my page every day to get the bonus free play. Hey, and check out those strong best bets as well. Went 7-2 on Saturday and Sunday, a red-hot weekend in college and pro hoops and football. Check it out, Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com. Get there quicker, wt.buzz/SM. And Joe, I'm going to do every college football game for free during the bowl season here on WagerTalk TV. Last week, I gave all 9 conference championship games and 12 of the 14 NFL games free here on the TV channel and on the website, 21 out of 23. But keep in mind, a lot of them are light opinions only, right? So my best bets are only for clients at WagerTalk. But be sure to click subscribe and click that bell as well here on WagerTalk TV because there will be a ton of college football bowl content. I've already got my Falcons-Buccaneers Thursday night prime game up here, 11-3 this year on the free prime play. So check that out. And also did an Army-Navy video that will probably be up tomorrow with a 17-2 angle that Ralph Michaels sent me. So a little teaser for you on that one here on WagerTalk TV.
Yeah, you guys, make sure you hit that notification button so you can get it as soon as that video does drop. But TransCanada in the chat saying if you want free Christmas cash, buy Merrill's packages and save Santa a trip. Those plays are as good as free money. Nice testimonial there, Steve. I know
he is on the good list for sure. And if he was on the naughty list, he is off. He is on the good list. He's on my good list. I like it.
He does. And on your good list is definitely a good place to be. But Steve, absolutely dominate, crush the books tonight. And thank you so much for joining us here on the Primetime Preview Last Call.
Thanks, Joe. Always great to see you.
Yeah, great to see you as well. You guys, that was Steve Merrill. Make sure you head on over to WagerTalk.com to grab the best of his bets over there. Like he said, dropping these free videos on the daily. He's going to have every single bowl game coming up. So make sure you do hit that notification bell. And then if you're looking for his best picks, head on over to WagerTalk.com. So many great specials going on right now that you guys don't want to miss out on. But this is Monday Night Football. We're talking this primetime game. We're going to have a quick look to see if anything has happened out there on the ice. I know someone was asking about Tampa and Toronto out there on the ice. The one thing I did take, you guys, was Toronto first period on the money line. Toronto is coming off an overtime game, and when they're off an overtime game as a dog, they have struggled in those games afterwards, and Tampa's lost their last 3. Nikita Kucherov, Braden Point back in the lineup. But I think Toronto comes out solid in the first period. Backup goaltending in here for them. They're going to give the support. I think they get up in the first, and then we could see Tampa coming back and getting the win. So that was that game. Looking at Monday Night Football, though, you guys, this is all about the Chargers for me. I think the Chargers have every possibility of winning, and that's what we've really seen with the line. We saw late money come in here on the LA Chargers, taking them from a 2.5 point dog during the day up into this is a 1 point. There's a 1.5 right now at FanDuel. So this is basically a pick 'em. The Chargers have changed on the money line. So looking at the money line right now, you guys, you were able to get them earlier in the day, right around that like plus 120, plus 130 mark. They're now plus 100 on the money line. I still think it's the right way. The Chargers are going to cover plus 1.5. They have to win this one out. So Steve, his best bet, Steve's best bet was the Eagles team total under the 21.5. And I absolutely love where he's going with the under 21.5. That's something I did take. The Eagles, East Coast team traveling out west. That's a hard situation. We always talk about West Coast teams traveling east, East Coast traveling west. And I do think the Eagles offense just hasn't been there. So yeah, Steve is rolling with that team total under the 21.5 as his best bet. As for me, other things that I'm liking is definitely Justin Herbert under the 19.5 rushing yards. I just don't have the faith in him to run. And I don't think the coaches should either, not because he can't run, but because he can't risk injury. We can't have the Chargers quarterback go out for long term here and then Trey Lance have to pick up the slack. It's just not something the Chargers want to see happen. So I do think he stays under those rushing yards. I also looked at Herbert under the rushing yards, but Hampton for the anytime touchdown. I know you guys have been talking about Hampton or Vidal, who you should take for those rushing props. I am a little concerned with Justin Herbert passing the ball off a lot. You could see some fumble situations, so he's going to have to be careful with that because the injuries to his non-throwing hand. Normally, a quarterback will pass the ball off with their non-throwing hand in those situations. We saw in that last game after he injured it, he was passing it off with his throwing hand. So we could see a fumble out there. I'm really hoping he doesn't do that. But if he can get the ball to Hampton, I think Hampton he's so explosive. He has the possibility to get in the end zone. So his anytime touchdown coming in at plus 185. I also looked at Ladd McConkey for over his receiving yards. Over 4.5, not receiving yards, receptions. Over 4.5 receptions for Ladd McConkey in this one. I do think Justin Herbert is going to have to get the ball out really fast. We do have Jalen Carter out of the lineup here for the Eagles. That is a huge hole for their defense, definitely one of their best defensive players. You're going to see those lanes open by the offensive line, which will allow that run game to come into play. But also when they're trying to pass it, I don't think we see Herbert really airing this ball out deep. I think they're short passes off to Ladd. So that is where I'm going to go with this Monday Night Football game. You guys know I'm a Chargers fan. I think the Chargers have an extra boost tonight. I'm headed out. My brother's here from Australia. We're going to head out to a pub and watch this game together. He might not be a Chargers fan. Definitely know he's not a KC fan. I was asking him last night. Apparently he's a 49ers fan. Didn't even realize that. But he's been in Australia a while. Not sure why he's a 49ers fan, but we'll get to the bottom of that tonight. That is for sure. But you guys, all the best in all of your bets. Make sure you do stay tuned here to WagerTalk for all of the great free content dropping here on YouTube. Hit the like, hit the subscribe and notification bell as well. And you guys below this video, let me know what you're liking on Monday Night Football. You guys are the best. Until next time, stay hot and let's make some freaking money. Appreciate you guys.